Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we begin the third season of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. About a month ago, I didn't even think there was going to be a third season, but fortunately, it's happening. It started, and we are beginning the road to finding out who's going to be the third Duracell Cup Series champion. We kick things off here tonight with non-points racing at Daytona International Speedway, the third annual Clash at Daytona. For the last 2 years, a driver out of Michael Norman Motorsports has taken the checkered flag. Matt McIntire in a Michael Norman Motorsports Chevy won it in Season 1. Michael Norman, the team owner, won it last year in a Toyota. But there's only one Michael Norman Motorsports entry in tonight's field, and that is the team owner Michael Norman. The pressure on him to make it 3 for 3 in M&M sweeping the Duracell Cup Series Clash. 18 other drivers are looking to go to victory lane here as well. If Michael Norman is not able to close the deal, we will have 3 clashes and 3 different race winners, as Matt McIntire did not return to the series this season. Otherwise, he would have been in the field as a defending winner, and I believe he was a 2-time pole sitter back in Season 2 as well. On the front row for tonight's race, it's going to be Matt Haas in the Speed Raceway Toyota Camry out of Haas Racing. 2-time pole sitter last season, holding the pole not only for the dirt track at Springfield, but the race that we're going to be going to in a few days, the Daytona 500 back in Season 2. So obviously he knows how to get around this 2.5-mile super speedway. Alongside of him, a driver that was in the hunt for the championship last year in the Final Four, R Brommer out of Bulldog Motorsports. He was the pole sitter at Sonoma. Everybody else here in this field has made it in either being a former pole sitter or being a former Clash winner. The only former Clash winner, Michael Norman, actually did have a pole last season that locked him into this as well, being the Michigan pole sitter. Everybody in here in this field are drivers that you've seen either last season or in both seasons of Duracell Cup. None of the rookies made it in, obviously. Let's go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports, get them ready to go rolling for 24 laps here tonight at Daytona International Speedway.
Drivers, start your engines!
Check down the description below for the starting lineup for this evening's race. And after each driver, it should also show you the particular tracks that these drivers had their poles at in Season 2 that qualified them into tonight's event. So, as stated, all these drivers took part back in Season 2. There are quite a number of changes, though, for these drivers, and we'll be showing you the changes that have taken place for all the drivers in the field for the 40 cars when we get to Daytona 500 qualifying, the Gatorade Duels, and of course the Great American Race. But a couple of things that you notice up here towards the front, a couple of sponsorship changes. The Mountain Dew Dark Berry coming on board the number 9 of R Brommer, new looking paint scheme for him. On the inside of row 2, you've got the Irwin Industrial Tools Ford of Adam Garcia. That's a new sponsorship he's got this season, along with UPS. Jessica Shelton right behind him in the Hershey's Cookies and Cream on that 02. Look further back, you see the bright red car 6th on the inside line. That is the, I believe it's called Cinevos Bank sponsorship for William Brock. Mitchell Collins up there, 4th on the outside line. He's got a new Shell Pennzoil sponsorship look. Michael Norman, 3rd on the outside line. He's got the Pizza Hut sponsorship now in his number 18. K Batson rolling off from 10th. He's sponsored by Jim Beam this year. Trying to see if there's anybody I'm missing. Carson Gunn with a number change and a team change. Team Chevy Autosport last year in the 3. He's now in the 19 with Backmarker Motorsports. And I believe that might be all the changes here in this field. Nope, James Qualls there with the new sponsorship on the 54, the Monster Energy Toyota Camry, the Natalie Decker-looking car. And right behind him, K Mathews, sponsored by Hooters this season as one of his primaries on his 09 out of S3 Motorsports. Here we go, 24 laps of racing. The third annual Clash at Daytona for the Duracell Cup Series is green. Let's roll! Wide back of the pack, that's James Qualls putting Carson Gum in the middle. Further up, Jessica Shelton thought about 3 wide. She follows Adam Garcia, who goes to 2nd. She'll now challenge R Brommer for 3rd. as they begin to jostle for positions in the middle to the rear of the field. Matt Haas moves up to get the draft off the 12, now moves down to block the advances of Shelton on the bottom. Off of turn 4. Still 3 wide, a little ways back there as Shelton peels to the inside, tries to lead the first lap of the evening, can't do it. Matt Haas by a few inches is going to lead lap 1, but Shelton with a strong car on the bottom, not a whole lot of drafting help either, is going to easily go to the point. R Brommer was about a car length behind. I don't know if there was enough of a bubble push to get her out in front there, or if she did that all by her lonesome. But she's actually pulling away from the pack a little bit here too, so she's got a very strong race car that obviously is really good in clean air. That might be a little too far out in front for Shelton, as Matt Haas and company going to try and reel her back in. Levi McIntire kicked to the high side there. New team for Levi this season as Rock and Roll Ranching folded up at the end of Season 2. He's now the 4th entry out of Blue Oval Automotive. Teammates with J Millz, who's the highest winning driver in the Duracell Cup Series. Jordan Lopez, who's not too far behind in terms of win. And Trey Wright, who's a multi-time winner in the Duracell Cup Series as well. J Millz in this field along with Levi McIntire. I looked at actually the opportunity for teammates to work together, and you've got a couple of them going 3 wide right there, the 22 and the 12, Collins and Garcia. But the advantage here this evening goes to Joanna Atwood Motorsports, who has 3 of their 4 entries in this field. Ryan Acosta, the defending champion, in the 10, J Gardner in the 14, and James Qualls in the 54. Battle on for 3rd as Mitchell Collins begins to reel in Jessica Shelton for the top position. That's going on almost 2.5 car lengths in front of 3rd place running Adam Garcia. But if these two start to get side by side with each other and battling for the lead, that's going to bring 3rd, 4th, 5th on back up very quickly into this battle for the race lead. Also be interesting to see with 24 laps if these drivers will have to make pit stops in this race. We are not, for the first time, not running the 2019 rules package. We are running CTS physics, however, so I don't know if these drivers can make it 24 laps on fuel. My assumption is they're going to be only able to make it about 16 to 18 laps. So if we manage to go green the entirety of this race, it could come down to green flag pit stops. It's like they're starting to get themselves pretty well settled out now. Double wide there from about the 8th position on back. Up front, though, they're all single file. Shelton continues to lead. Collins with his teammate Garcia in 2nd and 3rd. James Qualls with his teammate Ryan Acosta in 4th and 5th. And Michael Norman, the defending winner of this race, currently rides in the 6th position with William Brock behind him. The best battle is side by side for the 8th position. Matt Haas, the pole sitter, to the inside of Levi McIntire. Keith Batson right there as well. You'll notice that everyone's still up here in this lead pack. Nobody has lost the draft, is up further towards the front. James Qualls steps out of line. He'll break up the Young Motorsports Ford Mustangs as he and Ryan Acosta try and move to 3rd and 4th place. Now Qualls all over the back bumper of Mitchell Collins. James Qualls last season was not at all a contender for the championship. As a matter of fact, spent most of his season struggling to stay away from dead last in points. He is a Duracell Cup Series winner, winning back in Season 1 at the Paperclip Short Track of Martinsville. Obviously not happy as a driver, but very happy as a team owner, as his teammate Ryan Acosta took the championship last year in Duracell Cup Series competition. It'll be interesting to see this year how Ryan Acosta does, because it seems to always happen. I don't know, if it's necessarily just with me or if it happens with everybody. With me, anyway, it always seems like if a driver wins a championship, the following year they go into a slump. And that was exactly what happened to Chris Darlington last season. He won the championship back in Season 1, and then last season he couldn't buy a win. Didn't make it into the playoffs. We were obviously guaranteed a brand new champion. And Chris Dallerton's not even in the Season 3 roster now. That's why Levi McIntire is over with Blue Oval Automotive, because otherwise he would have been a single-car team. James Qualls got a car that looks like it's able to make some moves here. He started towards the rear of the field. He's now up to second place, actually in a battle for second with Collins. He's got drafting help from Levi McIntire and Carson Gum. Collins up topside has drafting help from Ryan Acosta and Michael Norman. This all continues to go on behind Jessica Shelton's Chevrolet. Jessica Shelton, very well known for her super speedway racing. So no surprise she's out in front, able to control the draft, but I think it's all going to come down to if these guys behind her are going to be able to get lined up and get a run. Then I'm not sure what she'll be able to do in terms of blocking. And also, I'd be a little bit worried because this is a non-points event. You don't get points for leading a lap. You don't get points for leading the most laps. Obviously, you want to be out in front so that way you're ahead of any trouble that might break out with the unpredictability of super speedways. But at the same time, Jessica Shelton being out in front in that clean air is providing the draft for everybody else behind her, and as consequence is using up more fuel. So the only thing I'd be worried about is Shelton might have to come to pit road sooner than everybody else if indeed they cannot make it the 24 scheduled laps on what they have in the tank. Carson Gum gonna move down in a battle for second. Saw that run with James Qualls and Levi McIntire forming. He comes down to get it. Carson Gum ran for Backmarker Motorsports back in Season 1, went to Team Chevy Autosport in Season 2, and now back with Backmarker Motorsports yet again, but bringing over the Sharpie Highlighter sponsorship on his Chevrolet Camaro. Top three, single file, Chevy, Toyota. Then it's a battle side-by-side between Fords. Mitchell Collins going to clear for that spot to fourth place. Jesse Turner now to the outside of Levi McIntire for fifth. Ryan Butcher up in the mix as well in the 78 car. Last year was a great year for Auto Junction Racing. Neither of the drivers, rookie then Casey Nanico nor Ryan Butcher, made it into the playoffs, but they both did find victory lane. Ryan Butcher going to have another rookie teammate this season in the 77, Patrick Smith. We'll see him during Daytona 500 qualifying later on this week as the battle is on for second place. James Qualls, Carson Gum. Thought maybe Mitchell Collins was going to make a move 3 wide off of turn 4, but thought better of it. Some drivers there towards the back we haven't seen yet, and you got to wonder if they're riding maybe saving fuel. J Millz, Zach Rogers, J Gardner, and K Mathews have all basically been riding outside of the top 10 for a majority of the first half of this race. So you got to think they're on a differing strategy than all these other drivers that are fighting and clawing their way up to the front. Still 3 wide, that's Carson Gum without a friend on the top side, a very lonely man in that third groove. As Mitchell Collins has managed to clear himself for second, he's all over the back bumper of Jessica Shelton yet again. He might have a good run here into turn 1. Let's see if he makes the move. Not going to make it just yet. First and second have opened up a gap again between themselves and third place, which right now is James Qualls, but Qualls looks like he's going to have a pretty good tow down the back straightaway. I think he might be able to get to the back bumper of Mitchell Collins and battle for second going into turn 3. Let's see. Well, he dove it down to the inside, but he wasn't able to get to the left rear quarter panel, so they will remain single file for the top 4, Shelton, Collins, Qualls, and Butcher. A lot of Toyotas here in this field, too. You got Qualls, you've got Butcher, you've got Acosta, Gardner, Norman, Matt Haas. A lot of Fords as well, with Mitchell Collins, Adam Garcia, Levi McIntire, J Millz, Jesse Turner, Keith Batson. The manufacturer that's kind of outnumbered here in this clash are the Chevrolets. I believe you've only got 3 Chevys in this field with Shelton, Carson Gum, and William Brock. That's actually really surprising that there's that little number of Chevrolets. There's actually almost as many Dodges as Chevrolets. There's 3 Chevys and there are 2 Dodges. The 2 Dodges out of Bulldog Motorsports of Brommer and Rogers. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There are 4 Chevrolets. My apologies. Kyle Mathews is also in the field. But still, when you compare it to the number of Toyotas and the number of Fords in this clash, it just shows you that I don't really know. The Chevys didn't seem, at least to me, to have the same kind of speed last season as the Fords and the Toyotas did. We'll see if that changes this season. Northeast Motorsports has 4 Chevrolets. Backmarker Motorsports has 4 Chevrolets. We've got a couple of single-car Chevrolet teams of Canadian Motorsports with Carter Friesen, Con Autosport with Matthew Rodriguez. I think we got pit stops taking place here. Oh, maybe not. I thought it looked like Ryan Butcher was moving to the outside. Looking like he was moving up for someone indicating ahead of him that they were coming to pit road, but maybe he was just moving up because Michael Norman had a good run. Ryan Acosta, highest we've seen him all night. He'll now battle for second with Mitchell Collins. Boy, how would it be to bookend an off-season for Ryan Acosta, winning the championship at the end of Season 2 and winning the Clash at the beginning of Season 3. K Batson also moving his way up to the front there in the 39 car. Three wide still there in the middle of the pack. Double wide towards the front in a battle for second. Looks like that outside line gets a really good run on the front straightaway through the tri-oval as Mitchell Collins will clear for second place again. And now we enter into that area where I'm thinking that these drivers may have to start thinking about coming to pit road. Is anybody back there like Gardner and Rogers and Mathews? Have they been able to save? J Millz also in that category? Can they make it the full 24 laps? Or can everybody make it on fuel? And basically, am I just trying to spin a web that has no weight? Oh, I don't think so. I think Shelton's indicating she's pitting this time. She's going to come to pit road along with Jesse Turner and J Millz. William Brock makes a late break onto pit lane as well. Boy, he really had to get on the brakes to woe that thing up. He's going to enter pit road ahead of Shelton. Very aggressively coming on to pit road as Benny Watson in the 75 is back here. I thought that everybody was all still up in the draft, but maybe not unless Benny Watson had already hit pit road. So 4 drivers had to hit pit road there with 6 laps remaining. We'll see if anybody's going to hit pit road this time. Don't see anyone indicating yet. And now they're going to start indicating Ryan Acosta's in. Looks like everybody's pitting with the exception of the 22 of Mitchell Collins. Matt Haas and Johnny Gardner are coming in as well. Kyle Mathews. Whoa, slow up, guys. Now they gained some time because of that, though. Might gain a couple of positions as well. I'm not certain if Benny Watson hit pit road already or not. Let's see him coming off of turn 4. If he comes to pit road, then obviously he lost the draft. Yep. It's a tough break there for Benny Watson. Good news for him is this is a non-points event. As William Brock, remember we saw him outbrake Jessica Shelton coming onto pit lane. That was legal. Under caution, you can't do that, but under green, you can come to pit road as fast as you like as long as you are down to 55 miles per hour when you hit that yellow line, and that's exactly what William Brock did. As a consequence, he comes out ahead of Jessica Shelton. Now, he is not the race leader. The race leader was Mitchell Collins, who I believe is hitting pit road right now. So that will turn the race lead over. But will it be to William Brock? Ryan Acosta and Zach Rogers look like they might come out ahead of the 88. Can they get up to speed, though, quickly enough before Brock reels them in? And where will Mitchell Collins cycle around into all of this? It looks like Ryan Acosta's up to speed, having Zach Rogers behind him. I think they might cycle around to first and second. Then you've got Brock, Shelton, and Turner, third, fourth, and fifth. Oh, but they've got a big run, big momentum. They're reeling in those top 2 quickly. But where do they take that momentum is the question. As Zach Rogers now makes a move potentially for the lead. William Brock thinks about 3 wide into turn 1. Doesn't have enough room. Instead, he'll push Zach Rogers to the lead. Rogers, credit him for seeing that run behind him, move down to get the benefit of it, and William Brock had no choice but to push him to the lead. There you see them passing Mitchell Collins. That is the battle for the lead now between Brock and Rogers, and Jessica Shelton, who led a majority of this race, now in third. Let's see if she can fight her way back up to the front. Jessie Turner in the mix as well as Ryan Acosta. Right now, 5 cars in this lead group. J Millz trying to latch onto them, but I don't know if he's going to be able to or not. It may be a 5-car race at the front for the win. 4 laps to go at Daytona. William Brock is on the back straightaway as the field is in turns 1 and 2, so I don't think he's going to come into play as these drivers being able to utilize him as a pick. How ironic. I was talking about just how the Chevys are outnumbered in this race, and right now Chevrolet first and second. Then a Dodge in third, a Toyota in fourth, and a Ford in fifth. All 4 manufacturers up in the top 5. And I think J Millz may just barely have the draft of this lead group. I think he could be a player in this in the closing stages as well. If they continue to be side by side in front of him, then no doubt about it, he'll catch up to these top 5. 3 to go at Daytona. Brock out in front. William Brock went the entirety of last season winless. He'd love to start the season off here in Season 3. New sponsor and with a checkered flag. He's going to have to hold off one of the best in the business at super speedways in Jessica Shelton. Shelton with a challenge from Zach Rogers. Nobody going down to help him, though. Shelton's going to hang on to the spot. Ryan Acosta is going to utilize the draft. He'll go around the outside. He'll take third. And he might be clear on Rogers. He is. He'll slot down the third position. If Shelton makes a move, does anyone go with her? That's the question. We saw right there Zach Rogers make a move and nobody went with him, and it cost him a position. Now he's side by side with Ryan Acosta again as we've got 2 laps to go at Daytona. Remember, it's a non-points event. If you win this race, it doesn't lock you into this season's playoffs. What it does give you is a nice paycheck, and it also locks you into the future clashes for the Duracell Cup Series. Also gives you some momentum heading into the Daytona 500 race weekend. Jessie Turner way up the track there. I don't know if he got contact with somebody or what. This time by the white flag will display for William Brock. Northeast Motorsports lost one of their key pieces this season with Benjamin Miles retiring. So William Brock is one of 2 veterans still there with the team. He'd love to be able to give that team some momentum heading into the 500. Shelton about a car length back, trying to generate some distance here to maybe get a good run down the back straightaway. If she gets to the 88th back bumper, with the 10 go with her, but now Ryan Acosta moves low. Not going to work for him. Jessie Turner not going to be side by side. I don't think Shelton's close enough. Was not able to close up the gap there on the back straightaway because of Ryan Acosta stepping out of line. We'll see if she's got anything for him here off turn 4. Half a car length back. No way she can make a move. William Brock is going to win the clash at Daytona. And there you can see everybody else crossing the line as the field got very much broken up with that cycle of green flag pit stops with less than 10 to go. But William Brock takes the first checkered flag of Season 3, winning the clash here today at Daytona. He made it into this race, winning a pole last season at the road course of Watkins Glen. But here tonight, he gets a super speedway win. And you can bet because of that, we are going to be focusing on William Brock quite a bit here during the Daytona 500 qualifying and, of course, during the Great American Race as well. And you got to go back. Move of the race, I think, would definitely have to be when the pit stops were going on. William Brock was 4th coming to pit road, and he outbroke Jessica Shelton. He beat her to the commitment line coming to pit lane. He was able to get it down to 55 miles per hour, did not get black flagged, did not get penalized, and left pit road ahead of Shelton. And I think that was the move right there. The aggressiveness coming to pit road that got him this victory here this evening. Mentioned the fact that he is one of 2 drivers returning to Northeast Motorsports this season, along with Austin LaPlante. They've got rookie drivers with them as well in the 33 and the 24, Nathan Hudson and Jacob Thibodeau. So William Brock trying to make a statement here of, yeah, we may be in a rebuilding process, but we've still have really fast race cars. Green flag from start to finish. Brock with the win. Shelton brings it home in second. Dominated the race before those pit stops. So obviously we'll be looking at her to possibly be one to watch in the 500 as well. Jesse Turner brings it home in a solid third place. Ryan Acosta, one season after taking the championship. Fourth place here tonight in the Clash. Zach Rogers, along with J Millz, both ran outside the top 10 for a majority of the first half of this run. They finished 5th and 6th, so great run for them. Ryan Butcher in 7th. Keith Batson was 8th, Mitchell Collins in 9th, and James Qualls completes the top 10. You can see the rest of the finishing results. Like I said, the good news for these drivers, despite them, whether they finished well or finished poorly, this is a non-points event, so there's no penalty suffered if you finish dead last, like Benny Watson did. Obviously, he lost the draft, and that cost him a good finish here this evening, but it's all basically going to be on the line as far as points when we get to the Daytona 500, which is going to be coming up later on this week. So hope you guys enjoyed tonight's Clash from Daytona. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew today. These are your full finishing results. Up next this week, we'll have Daytona 500 pole day qualifying. It's going to be 2 rounds in which the top 12 will make it to round 2, and those 12 will battle it out for the front row. And then the Daytona 500 qualifying will give us the lineups for our 2 Gatorade duels. Those will be coming up on Thursday. And then we cap things off with the 3rd annual running of the Duracell Cup Series Daytona 500 to get Season 3 officially underway. You'll want to tune into all that stuff. But until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching your production of Jerry, all flying racing at its best.